2020 Maple Street, U.S.A. Submitted for your approval. Simple piece of fabric. It isn't a burden, donned only in protest. A simple piece of fabric, red, branded with a white serif insignia, nationalism manufactured in foreign factories, makes communication difficult. 2. That a simple piece of fabric muffles consonants, the sounds giving our language shape and definition and clarity, still doesn't explain why I cannot understand so many of my countrymen.
Elijah McClain in 3 parts, after Tamir in 3 parts by Cortez Harris. Part 1. When I heard Elijah used to be a violinist, I picked up my own bow and tried to make music of his memory. Spreading rosin across the hairs felt like grounding his bones into baby powder, or spreading his ashes onto my floor. When I dragged my bow across the strings, I tried to make a vibration strong enough to shake his casket. Maybe make him dance a little like a living boy would. I always felt that whenever one of us black kids are murdered, we each become a different note of the same song. And every chord that rings from a black orchestra is a group of black children snatching back their voices and clinging to one last breath of air. I think maybe, if we play loud enough, Elijah's blood will start dripping from police officers' ears, because our music will sound like nothing but lost children who just got their last chance to scream. There's no escaping this now. Listen to their song. Let it be the last lullaby for the animals Elijah played for in the shelter, and the ear-piercing melody of revenge resurrecting. Can you hear that beautiful music? Step 2. Everyone I told Elijah's story to asked why no one stopped him from wearing a ski mask at night. Didn't he get his proper black boy training? Don't we teach our children not to look suspicious? As if he was to blame for his murder. Like he failed some test you take to keep your life. Like he deserved to have ketamine in his veins instead of blood. Part 3. I read my sister Elijah McClain's last words. Told her the way he strung his words together reminded me of her. She laughed, and I thought maybe she was just too young to understand, even though she could be next.
Raised her in Sunday school on how to pray, how to seek God in all things. He even taught her how to turn the other cheek. Spoke in tongues when he prayed for her, so she knew her anointing was unique. I said the pastor spoke in tongues when he prayed on her, baptized her as she laid on her back. I can tell by the way she called on God that he was delivering her. But see, the church folk are having easier time saving him than forgiving her. He'll have an explanation. The devil made him do it. She'll have character defamation. She's the devil in a blue suit. It's the norm. He'll profess his sins with his mouth, give stout examples from the Bible of Samson and David and how it's a shame that him falling into temptation should lead him to damnation. Get down on his knees again to orally repent from his sins. So now he's back in the pulpit preaching the same bullshit that he don't even practice. Because in the eyes of the church, he's redeemed. It's miraculous. Cause see, the pastor pastors his pastures while the sheep get passed over, even during Passover. Shit, have a good laugh over it in the back with the deacons sneaking peekins at the teenage girls. They develop fast these days. They so fast now. So pastor lay his filthy hands on their ass now to pray for their salvation as he stands salivating and begins salutating, Our Father, which art in heaven, but you can call me Daddy. Hallowed be thy name, almost as hollow as my sinful soul. Thy kingdom come, and I'm about to. Thy will be done, soon as I'm done with you, on earth as it is in heaven. But they're heathens, heavy breathing, sanctified demons, call they semen, holy oil, stand on holy soil, praising God, trying to comfort her with a staff and rod. Odd how men of God always know how to get away with murder. Cue the violas. Oh, the irony that he can both pray for her and pray for her, commune on her hymen. So his first time in, she's like, take, eat. This is my body broken for you. Baptized her as she laid on her back. I can tell by the way she called on God that he was delivering her, but ain't no forgiving her because the devil made him do it and she's the devil in the blue suit. It's the norm, you see, because see, normally the church will sweep it under the rug, close eyes and shoulder shrugs like what happens behind closed doors is between him, her, and the Lord, because I swear on the Bible the church can't afford no more bad publicity. Ain't nobody tithing 10% for this type of toxicity. The church is a business. So they say it's none of our business what he does with his privates in private, long as he's smart enough to hide it. He'll be back in the pulpit preaching the same bullshit that he don't even practice. Because in the eyes of the church, he's redeemed. It's miraculous.
Dress rehearsals are for amateurs. Life is a stage and you're a player, the main character of your own story that is your life, and the genre of your story is as ill-defined as your character. Your life has no discernible plot, and you're often not even the focus. The best lines always go to someone else, and lucky you don't even get a script. You have to improvise your way through this mess of a play called life, and you have to do it live, every night, with a brand new scenario every single time until the day you die. If your life was a book, it'd be practically unreadable, assembled together by a team of incompetent writers, only one of which gets to be you. No proofreader, no editor, no publisher, no distributor. You might have a dozen readers at best, and they only read the good chapters. Hey, look at me! I'm a novel that nobody reads! Because no one wants to read books. They wait for it to be made into a movie. A movie that's about as faithful to the source material as your ex-girlfriend who left you during pre-production to pursue her career as a leading lady in someone else's studio feature. Your novel sucked, the movie's even worse, and you can't escape any of this. Because this is your life, and you only get one take. Because dress rehearsals are for amateurs.
Photos taken in evidence on the streets of two capitals. Exhibit A. The park is crowded, but all eyes are on a woman, 17, still in high school. She and the flower held as offering and option in her outstretched hands, already a threat to those in power. Enough that men, at most 2 or 3 years her senior, form a line to block her, yet lean away as if the flower could kill, could somehow erase their crisp green uniforms and ill-fitting steel helmets, could beat their rifles with fixed bayonets into things of real use and value. Having placed the potent flower in her rifle's barrel, knowing it can never stop lead on its own, she steps back, gaze unfaltering, spreads her arms wide as though presenting a sister's embrace, as if preparing to welcome bullet or blade, opening her life to welcome what comes next. Exhibit B. These streets are emptier, a calm space in the fighting occupied by soldiers watching the scene unfolding. a man in his later 30s, an officer in flak vest and stained fatigues, with the pistol in his outstretched right hand shining beneath the sun, the lines drawing all eyes along the short barrel to another, barely younger man, hands bound, shirt and short pants muddied by dust and fear, who grimaces, shuts his eyes tight, leans his head away from the bullet that will arrive by the time the next post-mortem frame is taken and he sprawls gracelessly on concrete. Having carried out the sentence, the first man holsters his pistol, turns, and moves on to the next act of war.
During the slave trade, it's estimated that more than 15% of Africans forced aboard ships never saw their final destination. To combat their loss of profit, the owners of these ships purchased insurance on their human cargo. The only problem in their eyes, the insurance only paid out on cargo lost at sea. This prompted captains to order that gravely ill Africans be thrown overboard, ensuring at least some return on their investment. I methodically maneuvered seamlessly under ocean waves. That is, until the shadow of a massive creature drifted over and covered me. Blood-curdling screams escaped the human cargo held in the belly of the beast, and I was hypnotized by the sounds that washed over me like monsoon waves. I can still hear those cries echoing in my mind even now. My family, all I love, taken away from me. Bodies packed so tight, no room to move, not enough to eat, and even less to drink. Mother, Africa, rescue me. Finally, I was able to break free from my troubled trance, and I contemplated the purpose of any entity which could cause so much misery. Bewildered, I surfaced hoping that the sun's rays on my dorsal fin would warm the now chilled blood running through my veins. I basked in the summer heat, oblivious to my surroundings, until snapped back into reality by the sight of a pale human directing whip into dark human's meat. So many times it slashed into dark human's back. Broad, dark shoulders full of nobility crumbled underneath the lash, but simultaneously blossomed into colored palettes of white, pink, and red. At that moment, if it was within my power, I would have screamed, but instead I dove down deep, desperate to escape those horrid scenes. Hours passed as I sulked, trying to make sense of the day's escapades, when suddenly dark bodies began to breach the ocean's crest. One, then another, all attached to heavy chains. A man, woman, and child, thin and sickly, yes, but still alive. Their grisly cries muted by the salt water filling their lungs. Unfortunately for them, their struggles were music to the ears of other predators like me. Some of them had already begun to feast. I held back for as long as I could, but ultimately my animalistic nature took hold of my very core, and I began to tenderize warm, dark meat between my giant teeth. And tears that I didn't even know I had began to mix and mingle with blood and sea. I am a creature many think of as a mindless killing machine. But on that day after gorgeous emerging, I lay fat, tired, and disgusted with myself, with only enough energy to wonder how on Judgment Day that ship's crew would justify their actions. I was and will forever be totally disheartened by this memory of your so-called humanity.
Mouth running like mascara, hair tucked securely in the past. She reaches for me with dewdrop skin, though it's still not safe. Rest now. He shifts in bed until his feet, now thick with summer heat, hang just out of reach, like forgiveness. Rest now. Wiping the lunch from his face, I think of how we are all children, taking leaps of faith even after science shows us that clouds aren't beds of cotton. Rest now. Fly later.
My dreams, they float outside me, fading in the candle smoke that travel over these broken grounds, and I only wish to stay outside of myself so I can see beauty, so I can view life, to find a uniqueness that attracts me, so I can smell the healing inside of just one physical breathing dandelion, or maybe a beautiful black rose, only me. In my purest form, totally honest, bearing agony from pieces left behind inside me, turned rotten from a she that I have never forgotten, holding mementos of happiness, disguising my internal woes. As I walk to a shining light, I wonder, will you hold open arms, inviting me to share the shattered pieces you have left of love, because brokenness did not evade you either? You too have searched for a living dandelion on broken ground and fell into a hole next to a dead black rose, so I figured maybe we could mesh our pain into pleasure and find pleasure in measuring up just to be enough this time. I hope we could escape inside one another, sharing memories of moments that molded us into what we value so much and about each other in the right now. I figured maybe we could actually kiss each other because we wanted to, and love each other because we needed to, without papers to say we are property, because you can't sign your name under a spiritual connection with I do's or vows. True love is already sacred in a breath of life, like finding a physical breathing dandelion in the middle of broken grounds. Our union can be built in water and bring life to these broken grounds. Our kisses can send sparks to this land to refresh crops and flowers and black roses and build trees. After all, chemistry creates energy and a new life form and new meaning, and we can bless each other with blessings that are created because to one another we are truly blessings. It just requires you to love me, even after I bear all of my secrets to you.
My name is Theresa Göttl Brightman. This poem is Numerology and Fire, and it's dedicated to all of my grandparents. 98 butane, blue yellow torch flames ripple across my shoulders, sleeve coat my arms, soaked in light dance. One more light glows and bobs in the back of my throat, making 99. 9 and 9 is 18. 18 is 1 and 8. 1 and 8 is 9, divisible by 3 times. 3 is the number of perfection. 3 threes is the crystallization, angled buttresses of pinpoint structure, engineering of perfection. But perfection is cliche, and charred and branded pagan Holocaust sacrifices are cliche. My cape of orange-blue fire pelts is cliche. My benzene veins, my carbon-dated blood, my ash-cold foot calluses, raging ink drops are cliche. Breaking bread is only cliche when there is no bread to break, and I have not known that kind of hunger, the kind of hunger hatred that aches to fill bellies with bodies and skulls. 6 million Jews plus 4 million Catholics, mentally ill, homosexuals, and disabled. 6 and 4 is 10 million. 10 million victims of hate crime by the original hate criminal. 10 million. 1 plus 0 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 equals 1. 1 unity, 1 perfection, 1 wholeness, 1 planet of people crippled under the spinning fan blades of astringent mouthfuls of vengeance fruit. But crippling is cliche, and no one forgot because the thinness of pale waters and forgetfulness are cliche. Names were taken because names are cliche. Families were taken because families are cliche. Humanity was taken because humans are cliche. I have not known that kind of hunger, the kind of hunger hatred that shouts evil and killer in the faces of children because of their last names and the color of their hair, hatred that cuts curtains from the ugly eyes through which everything can be seen. I have not known the hatred that my grandparents knew, hatred that pulled them from beds in the night, from fields in the day, hatred that drove hungry bayonet blades through barn loft hay in the hopes of striking hidden and petrified child flesh. Because after the war, 12 million ethnic Germans born, raised, married, farming in Romania, Yugoslavia, Hungary, Austria, people who never wore the bitter black angles of the swastika, people who never raised an arm to shout Heil Hitler, were sold as war reparations, human collateral, untallied, undocumented, uncatalogued in history texts, because the grandmothers and grandfathers who lived the history of the bloody and nefarious, the history of the improbable, never write the books. But reminiscing is cliche, and history and texts are turning cliche. 8,956 civilian men, women, and children compressed into a ship built to hold just under 1,500, promised safe passage to the west before 4 Russian torpedoes named for motherland, for the Soviet people, for Leningrad, and for Stalin pierced the hull, dropping 8,956 innocent bodies into the frozen Baltic Sea. 8 plus 9 plus 5 plus 6 is 28. 2 plus 8 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 indivisible from the parts. 1 sum of parts indiscernible from the whole. 12 million people scrubbed from their adopted homelands because vengeance is never cliche. 12 million mouths pried open by the point of Russian rifles. 12 million people charged to show the Prussian tongue between their teeth. 12 million herded into cattle cars. 12 million filling freshly built post-war concentration camps. But saying post-war is cliche. 12 million slave laborers tending fields that did not belong to them, growing food they would not be allowed to eat. 12 million. 12 is 1 and 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. Perfection. Because 1 ethnic cleansing should be met with 1 more ethnic cleansing. 1 and 1 is 2, falling short of perfection. 1 million men, women, and children were killed, starved, or terminally sickened. 1 million with nothing to hold between calloused fingers had even their breath and heartbeats poured into a hole in the ground. 1 weapon of hatred and vengeance, never flipping from unique to cliche. 1 war added to 1 war. 1 human wound left untended. Poulticed with forcible reparations. 1 Babel-broken unity. 1 unmended and unmendable loss. 1 soul untouchable and leaking from the slow loss of each pair of eyes, each pair of laden arms. 1 buried compassion because compassion is cliche. 1 flame flicker split from the 99. 1 fire burning in the feet, the palms, the breath and heated speech of every one person longing to be one people, 1 seeking, 1 answer, 1 love.
Approaching the swirly gates, I see a podium. Standing behind is a man with a horseshoe for a halo, half a beard and half a mustache. He has a bihawk, but his gray hair flows to either side of his head. Where am I ask. Feels like heaven, but you don't seem like St. Peter. The man behind the podium doesn't react. Also, I don't remember dying. He looks up and meets my eyes. I am Saint Fuck of the perpetual foot in mouth, patron saint of loose lips sinking ships, both physically and metaphorically. You invoked me when you died of embarrassment after lewd jokes made to nice girls. You felt bad after and wished you could die. You apologized, but there is still some atonement, and it might not work. I hung my head. Yes, I remember. I sunk to my knees. I don't know where to begin. I thought we had such a good conversation, then for some reason I thought my joke was acceptable. It wasn't. She never gave any indication it would be. She let her guard down around me more than she usually does, or at least that's how I perceived her words. I don't know where she and I could have ended up, but I felt there was a spark. I'm just hoping I didn't completely extinguish it. I looked back at the swirly gates, a mix of glitter shimmering from ambient light in thin oil. The half-fuzzy-faced, bi-hawked Sauron stared at me. For fuck's sake, what are you waiting for? Press send.
An empty room. It is an empty room. No one in there. So empty. Yet filled with screams. Screams silently resonating in the cavernous halls. Deathly wails ricocheting off the blooded walls. It is an empty room, emptied of the slaughtered bodies, bodies of non-human form. All the dreams of living and loving torn. It is an empty room, always listening, listening to the cold cleavers, cleavers that never stop. They never get washed, except in painfully draining life. They are exhausted too. It is an empty room, red runnels flow through it. Beaks, hoofs, snouts soak in it. Shreds of human conscience drown in it. It is an empty room, thick, stinky, unbreathable air shrouded, souls of the unwilling dead crowded. Please empty this room. It is not an empty room.
America burst out of our elementary school books with glorious fanfare, fife and drum, flag waving in the air. Looking dapper in a red bow tie, tails and top hat, or dressed for battle, red boots, red gloves, indestructible circular shield. Either way, making sure to highlight those broad stripes and bright stars. Stand, we are told, hand proudly over heart, pledging blind allegiance to the virtuous defender of this land of the free, this home of the brave. The amber waves of grain, the open arms for the tempest tossed, the country, we are told, God shed his grace upon. Self-proclaimed hero of our own storybook, regurgitated repeatedly into school children's unquestioning ears, grooming good little patriots. But with closer inspection, with the benefit of time, we came to see the blood dripping from the shield, the stolen land beneath our feet. We learned that what we shared with the Indians, despite parading our paper pilgrim hats in the hallway, was smallpox and the bullet end of a rifle. Our captain, America, was trading slaves and sewing white hoods, always in the way of progress, always protecting the patriarchy. Preemptive attacks, misplaced retaliation, oil wars, and arms deals. For-profit prisons, children in cages, the tempest tossed away. Our claim to be the hero of the story started to conflict with the body count. Liberty and justice for all, but hollow words on a page still waiting to be realized. America, the superhero, revealed to be just another comic book fantasy with continuity flaws.
No more, no more, no more. talking mercy now. Oh. Where were you when the world began again? When wings were born of the free fall? When the spinning became dance? In a hospital bed with a head full of beetles, shot by the music from a far row back. In a new seat in creative writing class, bewildered by indoor rolling blades. Sitting above a dentist's office, Tallahassee on the railroad tracks. In Moran's shadow, you brought your family by. Be the change you want to see in the world. Singing in a Mexican restaurant to the walls. Hiding in the lime tree. Birthday with the Dalai Lama. Free Akron yoga. Standing out on High Street under gentle snowflakes. I'm talking about a big love. Mahamantra as the stained glass danced. In the sage, my Himalaya's ecstatic embrace. Your first harmony on Antelope Flats, Paisley Park. On top of the world looking out through the mountain's eyes. Walking the hill by the Glendale Watchtower. She has had so many faces. Now shattered again, this pain is vast. Yea, the shadowed valley has depth, such depth that down becomes up and shadows exist only with light. My heart listens, burst across the cosmos. She says, why gaze over your prior footsteps when I am before you? In closing your eyes, you have felt darkness, and opening your eye, I am all there is to see.
This poem is called She Said. She said, get out and take everything you have with you. She said, I don't care anymore. You lie, you lie, you lie. She said, it's over. Erase my face from your memory. Wash your hands of my skin, my heart, my desire to continue with you. Empty, empty, empty. And as far as the pregnancy goes, I do not need a permanent reminder of you. Thank you.
I am the lines. I am the lines on the ceiling, the green knitted blanket on the bed. I am the blue bottom of the pool and the wooden swing down the stone path. I am the black knotted wood on that old attic floor. I am the sawdust in the horse stall and the stuffed animal at the end of the bed. The ceiling lines make constellations, but even the cosmos turn their faces. Later, at the grocery store, I realize for a couple of days there will be full meals. Suddenly, I am the lines at the cashier and the spaghetti noodles on my plate. Anger makes me melt again when you take me between the sheets. I am the lines of stitching clean and neat as I wash away what we did. I am the lines of water traveling eagerly down the drain to meet. One day, we see my great-grandmother and she stuffs me full with cookies. You laugh like everything is normal. Our secrets I do keep. But later I notice, as Grandma speaks, something I never thought of before. I am the lines of everything I see, searching for identity. Grandma laughs. All her mouth lines move. They dance with her eyebrows, making hundreds of lines over her old wrinkled face. I trace them with my eyes, afraid if I reach to touch, she will prove to be like you. But in Great-Grandma's laugh, I found the truth. There will be a day when I am old and I am gray. A time when I breathe, move, and laugh. My escape into survival of every line I focus on only brings me back to the essence of my own tangible soul, folding and unfolding, holding everything and nothing. Beautiful origami soul, I am the lines.
My name is Rosemary Wilson, aka One Single Rose.
My papa was a rolling stone. Mama found out what's going on when money got tight, then heaven sent truth from above. She heard it through the grapevine that daddy's been playing hooky from work out all night long on cloud nine, dancing in the street with some two-bit super freak. It's a shame. Daddy was supposed to be mama's endless love, the sunshine of her life. It just makes me want to holler. I thought there was nothing like the real thing, but it was just my imagination running away with me. Love is superstition, signed, sealed, and delivered on the tears of a clown. Now mama's uptight, humming inner city blues, upset she married a playboy that keeps her hanging on. Life as she knew it is now upside down on a love hangover. What becomes of the broken-hearted, though? Ooh, baby. In this case, war. The hunter gets captured by the game. Mama loaded our shotgun, her fingertips hot on the trigger, sights on daddy. In a ball of confusion, she screamed, "There's nowhere to run. I'm leaving here." Ooh, you really got a hold on me, but I'ma keep on trucking, baby. Now it's time I shop around. Neither one of us wants to be the first to say goodbye, but sugar pie, honey bunch, I can't help myself. Dear God, I just wish it would rain. Release this old heart of mine before it sinks in that man's quicksand. I second that emotion, Ma, but please stop in the name of love before you break my heart. My whole world ended the moment you left me. You're a brick house. My girl, 3 times a lady, more than she'll ever be. Somebody's watching me. Watch out for you. So reach out. Come to me. I'll cruise your heartache to higher ground, because ain't no mountain high enough. Smiling faces sometimes don't tell the truth, and daddy's was really saying something, Ma. So look, I'm coming out too. Pops can't ever be my guy again. I'm for real. You deserve better. I want you back, Mama. Come and get these memories. Lock them away. Throw away the key. It's time to move on. I pray you never have to sing the same old song again. But please, just don't leave me this way.
My name is Valentine Ventura, and this poem is titled Sick of Lovesick. I am sick of writing love poems. One disgustingly sweet metaphor after another gives me stomach aches. Like the butterflies that live there are trying to break free, I am tired of listening to love songs. My fine-tuned ears choosing only to hear your name in their lyrics now. Whenever I slow dance by myself, I'm not alone. The very thought of you guides my legs across the kitchen floor. I am fatigued by romance novels. I have pictured a happily ever after at least 10 times over, but we both know that those only occur in fairy tales. Still, these put me to sleep on restless nights. My own personal bedtime stories. I've had it up to here with the phrase, I love you, the 3 words that send chills up my spine whenever they come out of your mouth, even when they're not directed at me. I love you has been trying to claw its way out of my throat since the moment you locked eyes with me. My teeth continue to hold this statement captive, but I hope you can see its SOS written across my smile. Listen to it in my laughter. I am infuriated with love. It has been my own personal bully, following me, kicking my heart around my chest whenever you're near. I guess you can say I'm in a love-hate relationship with love. Well, I can understand why. I kept it in a locked box until you marched up to me, key in hand.
Nothing but targets. Every Saturday afternoon after my 12th birthday, my father would march me into the Arizona desert to teach me how to shoot his gun. Peach fuzz still fresh on my nuts, sweat in my eyes, and my elbows locked, I wildly fired his .45 while he marshaled around leather-chested, refusing to sweat under the bake of that automatic sun. He made me shoot at everything, his empty Coors cans, worn-out tires, my plastic cowboys in their frozen gunfighter stances, and a football helmet I refused to use, even the occasional gopher or cactus. It didn't matter. His eyes saw nothing but targets. One Saturday, sights set on me, he bellowed, "Put your shirt back on. I don't want to listen to your mother, bitch, when you start peeling like a goddamn Gila monster. And start paying attention to what in the hell you're doing. If you're not careful, you're going to put a hole in my chest the size of Tucson."
Hello everyone, my name is Thrace. The poem that I will be doing for you today is called Words. Words, wordy words. Once I had a gift. I could make love out of words. I could be the potter of words. I could make them into cups and have them overflowing with emotion. I could write love that overthrows empires. I could write love that binds two hearts together come hellfire or brimstone. But now, they're just words. I seem to have lost my gift. It's as if my pen is permanently broken. As if the organ of my imagination seems to have just dried up. And my once proud, illegible words of my genius don't exist. They have collapsed. Now, all I seem to be able to do is formulate bits and pieces of paragraphs and string them together in some form of sequence that seems both contrived and pedantic. So one. Sometimes she catches herself listening to the sound of her own voice. She thought that in her lover's eyes she might ascend to an angel, and she attached to that fervent nature of her companion more and more closely. She heard a strange, rather impersonal voice, which she only recently recognized as her own, insisting on their soul's incurable loneliness. We cannot give ourselves, it said. We can only own our own. 2. You are part of my existence, part of myself. You have been in every line I have ever read since I first came here. That rough girl whose poor heart you wounded even then. On the marshes, you seem to thrive. In the mountains, you seem to hide. So you've been in every prospect ever since I could remember. You've been on the rivers and the sails of ships. You've been in the clouds and in the light and in the dark. You have been the embodiment of every fantasiful thought that has ever come into my mind and has ever been acquainted with death. The stones of which you seem to find from the strongest buildings to throw at me. They are not real any more than you are real. They are not any more impossible than you are impossible. But it's more impossible to displace all the stones you have thrown on me with my own hands. It is your presence and influence that you have permanently tattooed into me. So to the last hour of my life, you cannot choose me, but you remain part of my character, part of a little good, part of a little evil. 3. We love each other with a premature love, marked by a fierceness that so often destroys lives. But we are adults, so we call it passion, and we call ourselves passionate, and hope that eases the burden.
To be is to exist. Existing without purpose, that's living without personal growth. Unfulfilling of our ancestors' oath. I want to be the next generation. The generation of belief. Inception of faith is created in our speech. From the roots through the trunk to the branch of a leaf. The emotions of overflowing possibilities swell the heart, constricting doubt, fortified by determination. I want to be the next generation. Where bullying is trampled by the hooves of security. Indifferences make shift, shape, form, prosperity. Disillusioned by charity. Confirmation, human parity. Worthy. I want to be the next generation. My words contest all obstacles. My efforts break down barriers of impossible, building me a platform of practice. Practice? Repetition breeds permanent. I say AI was earning it. Contemplation, preparation. I'm trying to be the next generation. Movers, shakers, givers, replacers, seizers of opportunity, everlasting foundation makers, casting seeds upon good soil, fruits of inspiration. I want to be the next generation. The creation of a new Egyptian language that extinguishes the flames of suicide, manifesting and embracing of individuality, sublime penetration. I want to be the next generation, a force that complies one to succeed. Bitch, you motherfucker. Reaching, ascending beyond limitations, simplification of complex matters, disbursement of chatters, carrying the cures for cancers, redirecting the monetary answers. Mankind is the beneficiary of destiny, so each one teach one to be the next generation.
Jetson's music, baby.
Even when I feel unworthy, I still believe that God has room for me. Room for me to improve. Room for me to heal. Room for me to forgive myself and to hold on and live for me. I want to learn how to live. I want to learn how it is to be free. Free in my spirit. Free without condemnation. Free without guilt or shame. Free. I want to be free. Live like I don't know how to let go. Like I don't know how to fall without getting back up. I want to be someone worth living for. I want to one day wake up happy. I want to one day wake up with my children looking at me, thanking God that I am their mother. I want to wake up one day looking at me in the mirror and say, you are beautiful, even when it hurts to smile, even when you feel like your smile has been taken from you, even when you feel like you can't live another day without making a mistake, even when you feel like you aren't worthy enough or capable enough to be saved, to be called by God. You are still worth it, even on days you feel like you aren't alive, even on days I don't feel strong enough. God, I want you to be my strength. Even then, this poem turns into a prayer, and you don't know why you're crying, or you don't know why you're speaking, because your voice has been taken from you. When you no longer have the words to say, let your silence vouch for you. Even when your thoughts tell you not to breathe, you take one more breath and another right after it, and don't let go of the feeling that you had when you felt alive for the first time. You just grip every last bit of joy you have in your hands, and you don't let go. You just grab onto every last hope that you have, and you roar like you are the last person in the jungle. You are not in the wilderness alone. You have God on your side. Nothing can come between. Nothing can come between of who you are. You are strength. You are a conqueror. You are a woman. You are a man of God. And don't let anyone tell you different. You are worth every bit, even when you feel like your bones are breaking and you feel like you aren't enough. You are worthy to be called again and again, even when you fall down. The righteous stand up once they fall, even if you fall 7 more times. Get up 8, get up 9, get up 10, get up even when you feel you have nothing else to give. I don't ever wanna give up again. Ooh. Ooh. You gotta keep fighting. Keep breathing. Do not live in shame or guilt. Live for you. Hello, everyone. If you or someone you know have been experiencing suicidal thoughts, please give them this number, 800-273-8255. Save a life today.
Linda Ogundu Orgy. Beautiful, soul surviving, strong tree. That's my name. And have I survived a lot? The one thing that I would say is the most challenging thing to say I survived from is this battle of not having the relationship I wish I had with my mother, my birth mother. Over the years, I've tried in so many ways to connect with her, but it never really works. So I don't know if she will see this or hear this, but I realized that's one thing that I never did do, was really, really, really honestly say how I feel towards her about a lot of things that she's done in order to protect that opportunity or room for the potentially having a relationship with her. I didn't want to put anything on, that would hinder it. As a child, I received a lot of empty promises from my mother. She would call me up and tell me she was coming to get me. I'd get all excited, pack my bags, wait by the window, and she would never show. Over the years, I found ways to try and avoid that disappointment. And one of them was by traveling to her when I wanted to see her. I figured the closer I was to her, the less road she'd have to travel to me, and in the end, we both could be happy. So that's what I did. I get on the bus, and I'll travel from New Jersey to New York City, and all she'd have to do was meet me at the Port Authority. For some time, she was actually consistent and showed up when she said that she was going to show up. But on this particular day, she went back to her old ways and left me there waiting and waiting and waiting for her to show. Right there at the Port Authority. Hours had passed. I didn't want to call my dad and tell him, because he would only remind me of what he always tells me, which is to not put too much hope into my mother. I couldn't call her. She didn't have a cell phone. So I just lean my head against the glass window and stare out into the Manhattan streets, into the eyes of strangers, hoping, wishing, praying that one of them be my mom. You see, I never really broke things down to her in this way for the reasons that I told you earlier. But I did write it down, though. I did put it in a book, published it with my name on the cover, handed it to her, told her I love her. She said thank you, but asked me if she ever read it, though. Who knows? Maybe now that I'm speaking it, she'll decide that she wants to listen to it, though. So there I was, waiting at Port Authority. And right in the instant that I decided it was time for me to head back and stop waiting, there she was, walking towards me, unrecognizable. You remember that, Ma? Remember that day you came to Port Authority? Unrecognizable. Your steps were slower. Your brown winter coat was larger. Your expression was faint. The 10-minute bus ride seemed like a lifetime. No eye contact made, no words exchanged. I was angry. And when we got home and you rested on the daybed filled with exhaustion, I didn't care because I was angry. When you took off your coat, yeah, I panicked, but I was too angry. I sat beside you confused and angry. You leaned your bony shoulder against me, and I was hurt and still angry. I looked into your dark circled eyes. You were too weak to cry, but I saw your tears, and yet I didn't care because I was angry. Your lips were cracked, bleeding, swollen. I was angry. The love from your sweet honey spirit mixed with the repugnant cattle dung and sour milk scent that leaked through your body's insides as you whispered in your loudest voice, angry.
I hope you enjoyed what I wrote out today. If you would like to find me on Facebook, I am Thrace. If you would like to find me on Instagram and look at cool pictures of my dogs and my paintings, I'm at High Speed Hua. So, I hope you all have a great day.
To all the kings and queens who turn a blind eye and relish in their power while the people slowly rise. Don't patronize through charity. Our food has lost its seed. You spilled our oil's money, and your power is run by greed. Down here we spill the blood you hide, while up on your thrones you toast to life in between flying and scraping the ground. Peace cannot thrive when you squeeze every pound. No, peace cannot thrive when you're deaf to our sounds.
Yeah. Now it's a war going on outside. No one is safe from fists up and keep one in the chamber. The message is clear, what we gotta debate for. So if it's war, I'ma give you what you came for. False heroes, show me a clock to pull a cape from. We ain't have a chance to have another take one. Ain't it funny, the same people that take from don't understand when we run up in your house and take some. How that work? You protected by a system built for you. How that hurt? Lick my finger, let me get that little privilege off your shirt. Do your research. I'm not just here to give you advice. We dressed in all black and we ready to ride. What's up?
To those with all the guns who stomp to break our rules and erect from the games of intimidating fools. Don't tell us you're our safety when we taste your OC for only using words to stand up for our beliefs. Down here we spill the blood you hide while upon your thrones you toast to life in between flying and scraping the ground. Peace cannot thrive when you squeeze every bound. No, peace cannot thrive when you're deaf to our sounds. March on, march on, march on, march on, march on. So if it's war, I'ma give you what you came for. The message is clear, what we got is the case for. So if it's war, I'ma give you what you came for. Keep marching, keep on marching, keep on marching on now. Keep marching, keep on marching.
It's not just a march. This is just a catalyst.
If the knee on someone's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds didn't shock you enough didn't shock your neighbors enough, didn't shock your mama enough, it is your duty to shake them. When you feel weak, remember those 8 minutes and 46 seconds. When you can't do this work, remember there was a knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. You have no choice. Remember that if you really carried a sign that said Black Lives Matter, then you better do the work so Black Lives Matter.